Hi, I'm Esty, and I'm going to speak to you about ShopDrop. ShopDrop connects online consumers with offline retail experiences. We believe that the traditional model of retail isn't working economically anymore. In the past year, 5,000 stores have closed down. Instead, brands and companies are moving to a pop-up model. In the past 2 weeks, Valentino and Tiffany announced that they're launching pop-ups around the world. So even though the share, as we saw in Jet.com, of online purchases is growing, still 74% of purchase journeys begin in a brick-and-mortar location. So we believe that people are going to go to a physical location for two purposes, either for the experience or because it's better than the alternative, i.e. it's final sale and they can't make a return. So the experience can be AR, VR, meet the designer, something sentimental like buying a wedding gown. And final sale would be, for example, a sample sale. By a show of hands, how many people here know what a sample sale is? Nice. So we decided to start with sample sales, and we'll get there in a second. So of the companies that are struggling with the retail model, Macy's, Sears, JCPenney have closed down a number of stores in the past years. And then among the winners are Amazon, launching a lot of pop-up locations, experiencing with the grocery store. Nordstrom is experimenting with the new concept called Local, where you can buy wine and get your pedicure done while you're looking at the new collection. So the problem with all these physical locations is that there's a chasm, a gap between the locations and the consumers. So ShopDrop connects the two. We decided to start with sample sales. Sample sales are short-term events, 3 to 4 days, when a brand will take all of its merchandise, excess merchandise, and put it up for 60 to 90% off for a few days. They can happen either in a brand showroom or through one of the hosts, which are listed below. They're the biggest ones in New York. And that's why we built ShopDrop, a mobile community of online consumers who are interested in these offline experiences. The app lets you discover, go, and pay to sample sales all within the palm of your hand. So we aggregate information from 11 different email lists. Then we gamify the experience. When you go to a sample sale, you can check in, interact with other consumers at the sample sale, and ultimately you'll be able to pay through the app and earn rewards. So for retailers, this is an innovative way to drive foot traffic, generate excitement, and it's the most efficient way of turning inventory without diluting the brand image, because this doesn't affect what's on SEO. So let's talk about traction. Since we got started in December, we've had almost 9,000 downloads. This is the graph of active users. The top chart is monthly active users, the middle is weekly, and the bottom is daily active users. We've just hit 3,000 monthly active users this week. And we've been mentioned by InStyle, Brit & Co, US News, and this week also by Richard Magazine. How do we make money? So we spent the summer running different pilots. We ran 12 pilots where we generated over $40,000 of sales for brands and $6,000 of revenue for ourselves. The numbers have grown since I submitted the presentation last week. And the model we're working with is a percentage of sales. So we run exclusives. If the sample sale opens on a Tuesday, we say open on a Monday for 2 hours. We'll promote that event, and then anyone who comes is a ShopDrop user, and we'll take 10 to 20% of the sale. This is some of the wonderful feedback from our consumers. And our next steps are integrating payment. We're using Stripe because it doesn't require hardware integration. Building out the community aspect so that you could follow and interact with other people at the sales at a more efficient level, and building in virality into the app so that you could earn more by inviting your friends to join you. So to summarize, the traditional retail model is shifting to one of pop-up and sample sales. There are a number of companies working at it from the bottom up, like Storefront Bulletin, figuring out how the lease system is going to change from permanent leases to temporary leases. But we, ShopDrop, are tackling it from the top to bottom. We're creating a community of shoppers interested in those experiences. The first year, we're going after New York sample sales, then we're going after US sample sales, and finally, we're expanding to all pop-up shops. In terms of our team, it's Bill and myself and a number of dedicated interns. In terms of competition, we're the only ones going past the discovery stage. We've been doing great, and it's an honor to be here. And we'll take questions. Thanks. Yeah.
Can you just, you walk through your economics a little bit, but can you just walk through sort of the workflow that goes along with one customer's process of working with you and onboarding? Sure. Can you just walk through the sort of workflow from the customer's perspective of how it works in their end?
Customer, you mean shopper or brand?
Brand.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah. So the brand the brand doesn't have to know about us for us to know about them, because we'll have information about them because of the lists we scrape. However, we keep track of every single brand we add, and we reach out to them via email, phone, and if that doesn't work, we finally show up at the sample sale and figure out who to speak to. So our first conversation just involves an explanation of how we work, and then we figure out a model for the sample sale that would work as an exclusive. So early access is what we always push for, but if that doesn't work, we push for an additional discount for our users in exchange for the data on how much they're spending and for a cut, or a gift with purchase in exchange for the data. And the idea is we're building in the payment integration now, so once that's ready, we're going to onboard the brands. And right now, we're in conversation with 103 brands, and there are about 310 more that we'd like to onboard. So the goal is to have them all by the end of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you give a profile of your typical user? You're saying you have about 3,000 users.
Yeah, sure. I love our users. So our user is, we're going to say 75% of our users fall into this category. It's either college students or young professionals in New York, female, and in an industry where you have to dress the way you want to look when you'll be promoted. So the experience in those sample sales is less than prestigious, but the concept is you're foregoing the experience because you're getting such a good price.
Working on our theme today of growing at scale, could you tell me about, does this work in all major metropolitan areas, right? I sense the extent of the brand here in New York City in our little bubble of the fashion capital. I can see that we're going to have a lot of pop-up stores and stuff. Yeah. How does this play to other markets so that we can grow this into a huge business?
Yes, thank you. So originally, when we just launched the app, we were scraping information from LA, San Francisco, London, and Paris as well. And we made the executive decision to shut down all of the other cities and focus on New York until we figure out a business model that works here and then replicate it. And it wasn't the wrong decision. We only received about 4 emails after shutting down. So our goal is, scaling, right? Yes. So our goal, here's the thing. So we need feet on the ground at this point to own a location. Our information is much better when we have relationships with brands, and so much of it is on foot. So once we expand, and our first expansion is going to be LA, San Francisco, Chicago, we're going to have to open offices there to replicate the same model. It's labor intensive. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Thank you.